have two parts.
Guys.
Regulation of hemodynamics. What types of hemodynamic regulation exist and what prevails at rest, what prevails at stress?
We have two types.
What is the main criteria providing perfusion of organs? Organs perfusion by blood. Supplying organs by substance, by blood. It is the main criteria of hemodynamics, supplying organs by blood. Main parameter.
It's pressure.
Blood pressure influences, but it's not main, because supply of organ depends not only on blood pressure. It is the main parameters reflecting perfusion of organs. Zaravshany. What is the main parameter? Providing organ by blood. Organ by blood. Supplying organ by blood. What is the main parameter? Hemodynamics parameter reflecting, showing organ perfusion by blood. From previous topic. If you don't know, why are you talking? If you can't answer a simple question. Previous class we talked about hemodynamic. What is a volume of blood passing across organ? What is the name? Volume of blood passing across organ.
Blood flow.
Blood flow, Q.
What is it called? Blood flow. Perfusion. Perfusion is a term showing amount of blood inside organ, blood circulation. Blood circulation per unit time, per minute. Perfusion equal blood flow. Blood flow per minute. Blood flow provides perfusion. Perfusion provides supply to supply
Organs.
tissue, supply organ by blood. Adaptive result. Main goal of blood circulation. So blood flow is Q parameter of blood circulation. And I give a moment. What factors influencing on Q? What factors influencing on Q?
Pressure.
Blood pressure
Yes.
and blood pressure.
Diameter.
Diameter influence on blood pressure and
Velocity. Velocity.
no,
Um,
low.
low.
On pressure.
Speed.
Resistance.
Resistance. Vascular resistance. Systemic vascular resistance. Sure. Cardiovascular system. Systemic vascular resistance. Blood pressure and systemic vascular resistance. So blood pressure is just one parameter of the blood circulation. but resistance also. And the resistance depends on the factor in accordance with Piaget equation. Piaget equation, second equation.
Resistance, length of vessels,
Length,
and viscosity.
Viscosity,
and
radius. No, length is more or less stable. No? The change maybe change it very, very slowly during lifetime, lifespan, but more flexible parameter, radius and viscosity. What from them, radius or viscosity, changes faster and regulated faster. Radius or viscosity?
Viscosity.
Radius, of course.
Radius.
Does radius
Radius.
Hotter.
So radius and blood pressure are the fast regulated parameters. Fast regulated parameters of blood circulation. Providing Q provides perfusion, provides blood delivery. Blood delivery to tissue. Tissue cells. First part of our class. At the first part, I'm going to talk about regulation of blood vessel diameter, vasoconstriction, vasodilation, and second part about blood pressure, total blood pressure. Blood vessel radius. It may be regulated locally or with systemic regulation. Two types of regulation: local and systemic. Both are presented at a given time, but with different balance. Local regulation prevails at rest, systemic at activity, during any activity. Local regulation is directed to adaptation, to activity of this organ. Contracted skeletal muscle, for example, must have more perfusion. And the systemic regulation is adapted to control blood pressure. Systemic factor providing in accordance with Ohm's law, total blood perfusion. How fast the blood perfusion per minute at rest, for example, during physical exercise. Local regulation. Local regulation maybe myogenic, nervous, and humoral. Myogenic due to change in muscle tone. Nervous, local reflexes, intramural reflexes. And humoral due to substances from endothelium, biologically active substances, and from surrounding tissue cells, for example, immune cells, mast cells, releasing histamine, strong vasodilators. Totally, what influences on the vessel are being every time. At first, systemic influence, local influence inside blood vessel. If you put blood vessel from the body, cut, and put in a box with physiological solution, what happens with smooth muscle? Do they become totally relaxed, or smooth muscle can make some tone? Basal blood vessel tone. Basal in the absence, basal tone. In an absence of any activity outside, any external activity. What is the mechanism of basal tone?
dilation.
Mechanism.
Myogenic.
Myogenic. What is a myogenic mechanism here?
Without external external influence.
What is the mechanism? What does it mean? Mild change.
Change of smooth muscle activity in response to
Why?
the distension.
Here, this tension is equal because this is isolated blood vessel, separated blood vessel from living body, cardiac, single. It doesn't change diameter, doesn't change blood pressure, solution pressure, fluid pressure inside. Pressure is constant. Why this vessel has tone? What does it mean, mild change? It's about properties of smooth muscles. Properties of smooth muscle. Can smooth muscle contract in absence of external influences?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
So when, for example, when we put part in, outside of the body, in isolated, in physiological solution, it will be again, we have contraction because when it will be full of some liquid, it will stretch, and to respond that stretching, it will
Even
contract.
without stretching, even without stretching, smooth muscle has some automaticity.
Yeah.
Automaticity. Myogenic mechanism means here automaticity, and this automaticity may be changed due to more stretching, less stretching, but it exists always. It exists always. Myogenic mechanism here means automaticity. Due to automaticity of smooth muscles.
Working automatically.
Yes, like a heart. Heart is a skeletal, striated muscle, but it has some properties from skeletal muscle and smooth muscle between them. One of these properties is automaticity or rhythmicity. Automaticity is a property, capacity to contract, to excite itself. خدت itself. Right. Basal next mechanism. Release of some substances from endothelium. Endothelium can release some substances, vasodilator and vasoconstrictors. Both types, different. For example, endothelin constricts blood vessel and decreases diameter. Antagonist, nitric oxide. Nitric oxide dilates blood vessel and decreases muscle. Endothelin constricts.
It's a humeral. It's a humeral, right?
Humeral. Local.
Mhm.
Local. Endothelin constricts, nitric oxide dilates. Another example, thromboxane A2. Thromboxane A2 constricts. Prostaglandin I2, prostacyclin dilates. We will study it again next topic in discussion about blood clotting. Here I say about the main substances important for medicine. Thromboxane A2 endothelin constricts blood vessel, decreases diameter, and increases blood pressure. If it happens not locally but systemic, for example, thrombosis, problem with hemolysis. And in opposite, nitric oxide and prostaglandin I2 dilates blood vessels. For example, do you know the drug nitroglycerin? Do you know it? Nitroglycerin.
موسع هذا.
Small tubes put them under tongue, and it decreases blood pressure. It's used in ambulancing, when it's necessary to decrease blood pressure quickly. Nitroglycerin works as donor. It helps to form more nitric oxide. Nitric oxide dilates all blood vessels in the patient body. The two main substances you must know. I showed you. Endothelium. External influence. Transmural pressure. Transmural pressure is the balance between internal intravascular blood pressure and external. Blood pressure inside, outside. Transmural pressure. External pressure, fluid pressure, is small usually, but it may be increased due to edema, swelling. Transmural pressure. Transmural pressure. Maybe tension of tissues, for example, muscle contraction, impacts mechanically on the blood vessel wall and can jam decrease diameter blood pressure in contracting muscle. Mechanical tension, maybe mechanical pressure. Mechanical structure around the tissue. Muscle contraction is the best example. Mechanical pressure. Shear stress. Inside. Shear stress. It's a difference between velocity of highest blood layer, and lowest blood layer. This difference in divided to distance, the distance
From the wall.
from wall to the center. Length.
It's usually faster in the center, right?
Fastest,
In the center.
and slowest. Fastest and slowest layers. The difference between fastest and slowest velocity in relation to diameter. It is called shear stress. Shear stress. For example, blood vessel constricts during physical exercise. Epinephrine, norepinephrine constricts blood vessels and accelerates blood flow velocity. So shear stress will rise here because more velocity and less diameter. And this shear stress impacts to endothelium. Endothelium can release vasoactive substances and constricts or dilates. That depends on organs. Then, another factor, metabolites. Metabolites, carbon dioxide, ATP,
AMP.
And CO2.
no, ATP, carbon dioxide, ADP, lactate, pyruvate, adenosine. Metabolites are released due to intensive work activity. For example, in the skeletal muscle during physical exercise. Good example of physical exercise. This metabolites dilate blood vessel, but just in systemic circulation. In pulmonary circulation, they have opposite effect due to adaptation of lung perfusion to the lung ventilation. But it's another topic. We will study the next topic. Here I mean on the systemic circulation. This effect on the systemic circulation vasodilation due to metabolites of this. Metabolites and external nervous regulation. What division of autonomic nervous system innervates all blood vessels? Sympathetic. Only sympathetic. It's very important. Only sympathetic system has a systemic effect on blood pressure. Parasympathetic system has only local effect in some organs, for example, tongue, salivary gland, thyroid, sexual organs, but it's just for special processes. Systemic regulation is provided only sympathetic nervous system. Actually, sympathetic postganglionic fiber has varicosities and diffusion synapses, and they release neurotransmitter. What is the main neurotransmitter of sympathetic nervous system?
Norepinephrine.
Norepinephrine. It releases simultaneously and the effect of the all blood vessels at a long distance. Norepinephrine usually binds. It has more affinity to which type of adrenergic receptor?
Alpha.
No, actually alpha 1, but we don't require physiology to know these numbers. I don't know about biochemistry, maybe but physiology, alpha 1. And it constricts blood vessels. And that increases blood pressure. Actually, every synapse, sympathetic synapse, contains two different, distinguished neurotransmitters, more modulating this response, but it's not so important for dental study. Norepinephrine synapse. And hormones. Hormones from big endocrine glands. What are the main hormones that you must know? Epinephrine can bind two types receptor, beta and alpha. With the binding to beta, it dilates blood vessels. Alpha again constricts. What prevents? What effect norepinephrine prevents? It depends on epinephrine concentration. Low concentration, epinephrine mostly binds to beta adrenergic receptor. With high concentration, norepinephrine binds to both tau. Alpha adrenergic receptor are prevalent in our body, and so we have high vasoconstriction in our body. For example, Alexander Makedonsky, selected soldiers in accordance with this response. He scared his soldiers and observed what soldier has a red face during fear, during danger.
Yes.
Who has a white face? Explain why.
Okay, because of dilation or constriction of blood vessels, right?
What is the difference between responses? Two human can have a different response to fear. Fear is a dangerous situation. And Makedonsky selected soldier with red face. Why?
Because they have fast response.
No.
Red face, high blood pressure.
In accordance with this.
Okay.
More blood flow in the
Again, so binding epinephrine with beta receptors provides vasodilation. What will be color?
red.
Red.
Red. Red. No, if you talk about skin,
Yes.
alpha, white response, white response. Red face means low concentration epinephrine. Epinephrine is a neurotransmitter, as hormone responsible for fear. Soldiers with more fear have white face. More fear, more epinephrine, white face.
Yes.
اوكي حاليا بفكر معك
So he puts
These soldiers with red face were more brave.
Yes.
Yes.
More brave, but of course their medulla released epinephrine, but not so much.
Not too much.
Not concentrated.
Yes, funny case. Epinephrine. What is another hormone very important to control blood pressure? And this hormone has systemic vasoconstriction. Evokes systemic vasoconstriction.
norepinephrine.
No,
Uh,
not
uh, acetylcholine?
but vasopressin influences, but another hormone. Angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2. Another very important hormone providing massive, huge vasoconstriction and rising blood pressure rising. Very important in medical medicine. Angiotensin 2. And other hormones, norepinephrine, because the adrenal medulla releases epinephrine as well as norepinephrine. Epinephrine usually more, 80%, norepinephrine less, but anyway it exists. Norepinephrine binds mostly alpha receptors, and vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone, ACH, it's to constrict also. What is the main hormone, systemic hormone, antagonist of angiotensin 2 and antidiuretic hormone, dilating blood vessels. Adrenatoretic peptide. And AMP
Release from the heart.
it's released by heart, but some similar hormone can be released by kidney locally and other tissue, but more concentration of natriuretic peptide is provided by atria and heart. Top of heart at first atria, secondly maybe ventricles. Ventricle store this peptide. Atria natriuretic peptide is synthesized in atria, the heart and atria, but may be collected, stored in ventricles. No, for you enough atria natriuretic peptide from the heart. So is skin. Don't memorize a picture, no?
Yes.
It collects everything that you must know. Local influences, endothelium, tissues, mechanical influence, fluid influence, difference between pressure inside and outside, and metabolites. And systemic influences.
And Professor, but we don't have anything about shear stress.
Shear sometimes, now I explain.
Oh,
It's easier. You know about laminar blood flow, fastest and slowest, and now I explained what does it mean in regulation of blood vessel risings. But it's impossible to explain everything in a lecture. But sometimes I have fear to explain the complicated things for a general student, but I believe. in the brain.
Heart.
And it's a very important phenomenon in blood vessels. Some organ has more of this capacity, some organ less. It's called autoregulation. Autoregulation. Autoregulation means capacity to maintain blood vessel diameter in some range, within some range. It is supposed to change blood pressure. Axis X. Maybe it doesn't work well. Maybe. Skin dependence of diameter, blood pressure diameter, or Q across one blood vessel, and responds to blood pressure within inside this blood vessel. At first, blood vessel increases diameter due to more stretching blood pressure. Blood pressure stretch blood vessel wall and increase diameter. But then diameter stabilizes.
And then increasing.
And after that increase.
Stabilizes. Why? Due to autoregulation. And then again increases. So here we have some stable
In
range.
50 meaning 50 milligram and 150, yes.
Depends on organ. In brain, between 50, 150 millimeter inches. In heart, about 8, maybe 60, 160. And kidneys, it shifted to more, to higher blood pressure, 80, 180. But we will study kidney later, not important now. Brain is example. Brain, because brain is the most important organ, providing control of behavior and a lot of functions inside the body. Brain autoregulation. Mechanism of autoregulation. Mechanism, at first myogenic, more stretching, more automaticity, more constriction. Less stretching, where blood pressure falls due to bleeding, for example, blood pressure falls due to bleeding. Bleeding, body loses blood volume, less blood in blood vessels, it decreases blood pressure. In this case, it may decrease dramatically blood volume in brain, for example. Brain cannot work. Well. And then maybe person may lose behavior. So it's dangerous, but when blood pressure falls, it decreases the stretching impact blood vessel, and activity of our myogenic tone decreases, smooth muscle decreases, so it maintains diameter, keeps diameter. Autoregulation is myogenic mechanism due to change of smooth muscle activity, depending on stretching force, transverse pressure. Next, release of biologically active substances from endothelium. Metabolites, is when Q is decreasing, metabolites concentration rises, of course, immediately, and quickly recover diameter of blood vessels. There's several factors. Automaticity of smooth muscle, shear stress changing, metabolites release. You may sometimes maybe intramural differences. Autoregulation. Autoregulation is higher. Autoregulation is higher in organs, brain, higher in brain, in the heart, and in kidney. Autoregulation is higher in the brain, in the heart, and in the kidney. But free organ, remember, autoregulation is higher in the brain, in the kidney, and in the heart. The most important organ, heart, provides blood circulation, brain thinks, provides behavior, and integration of all functions, and the kidney provides blood cleaning from waste.
Professor, for example, in bleeding, what will happen in this diagram?
During bleeding, at first, main organs maintain blood circulation due to this effect, local effect. Secondly, baroreflex work immediately. Then renin-angiotensin aldosterone system, slow system. So now about blood pressure. Blood pressure. Remember that blood pressure provides gradient to maintain blood flow. Resistance now we discussed, resistance, because systemic vascular resistance depends mostly on radius, depending on radius. And radius is provided by this. And second factor of blood pressure, second factor of blood pressure is the heart activity and total blood volume. Actually, resistance influence on blood pressure also you can mark here. In my skin, resistance provides blood pressure. It's interactive. Blood pressure. Blood pressure, I mean here mostly arterial pressure. Arterial pressure, because it makes gradient between aorta, large arteries, and the central venous pressure. Central venous pressure about zero, not zero, a little more, but about zero. So main factor move blood through capillaries is gradient made by arterial pressure. Arterial pressure depends on systemic vascular resistance. It depends on radius blood vessels and viscosity. Heart activity, cardiac output, heart, cardiac output, equation, stroke volume and heart rate, and total blood volume. Total blood volume is the amount of blood inside blood vessel. It consists of circulating, faster circulating blood, and stored circulating blood. What is a storage? The body doesn't have true storage. It's a storage with a slow blood circulation, spleen, and internal veins, large vein of internal organ. Total blood volume depends on kidney filtration, absorption, water filtration, water absorption. The kidney can create more or less urine and remove water or delay water. Retention, water retention, water retention. Water retention when kidney absorb back more
Sodium.
protein. Water retention, kidney for water and salt retention, water and salt balance. But here I want to say mostly about volume. Volume parameters, kidney, capillary exchange, capillary water exchange in capillaries, water fluid exchange in capillaries, fluid exchange in capillaries, and blood storage, large vein, storage veins in internal organ. In internal organ and split. What factor is regulated faster? Again, radius and cardiac output. Radius and cardiac output. Blood vessel radius and cardiac output can be regulated faster. Regulation of blood pressure has several mechanisms, several control mechanisms. Immediate, fast, very fast, with the average velocity, medium velocity and slow. Three types of mechanisms. You must know three types of mechanisms. Blood pressure control. Blood pressure control. Fast mechanism, medium, and slow period. Slow. Fast. Intracardiac regulation. Intracardiac. Here cardiac output. What one? Baroreflexes that you must know. Intracardiac mechanism, mostly myogenic, more important. Intracardiac baroreflex. Baroreflex. I mean here systemic mechanism. Of course, this local regulation of blood vessel works. But here I'm talking about systemic mechanism. Blood pressure control is systemic regulation. Systemic. Medium. What is a medium? It's humoral. What's the epinephrine? Because the epinephrine affects very quickly and destroys quickly. Medium effect. What? Renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, ADH, I have another reason. Actually, these factors influence mostly kidney. Mostly kidney. It influences blood vessels only, but mostly kidney. This method. Kidney. Kidney. And slow mechanism, slowest mechanism, it's a long-lasting mechanism with starting with delay. Slow is provided by shift of endocrine function, mostly thyroid function, disorders, endocrine gland, endocrine function, thyroid, like thyroid. Disorder of fast mechanism, long lasting, disorder or compensation, maybe two. Compensation is normal, disorder or compensation adaptation normal, disorder of pathology. Compensatory, compensation. Disorder of cardiac, fast mechanism, and very important behavior, water salt behavior, fast. And behavior. Mostly water, salt behavior. Drinking water, salt, drinking, water drinking, and salt consumption. Water, salt consumption. Water, salt consumption. Is how much salt food do you eat? It's very important because receptors, all receptors on our body can be resisted and adapted. If you excite this receptor many times. If you eat a lot of salt, receptors to salt in your brain can be adapted and they change activity of vasomotor center. Baroreflex. Baroreflex, киски. Так, copy with me, we can share together. It's hard. Baroreflex and the system of blood pressure control has detectors of ongoing blood pressure. Ongoing blood pressure. What blood pressure now? What the blood pressure now? Each homeostatic variable, homeostatic parameter, homeostatic variable has detectors. pH has chemoreceptors, affect chemoreceptors. Blood pressure affect baroreceptors. Where are baroreceptors located? Main body. Carotid sinus, aortic arch, here, and carotid sinus. Why is this zones? Aortic arch supplies all systemic circulation. Carotid sinus supplies brain. Separated special detector, additional detector to estimate blood pressure, pressure of blood flowing into brain. What are the types of these receptors? Primary or secondary? Primary. Nerve ending. They have mechanosensitivity. Nerve ending. Afferent fibers, dendrites, hairs and formation in the body located in the cranial, ganglia cranial nerves, vagus nerve, right, vagus nerve, and sclerosopharyngeal, and its release, excitation in which nucleus, magic nucleus, Tractus solitarius. Now we studied it previous.
Yes.
And in a gustatory system previously.
Also.
Nucleus Tractus solitarius.
What's
And it relays information and then changed activity of vasomotor center. Actually, cardiovascular center consists of two parts: vasomotor center and cardiac control. Cardiac area, cardiac control. Vasomotor center consists of two nucleus. First, inhibitory nucleus, depressor area, or a modern name, CVLM. What does it mean? Caudal caudal ventrolateral medulla. It contains inhibitory neuron. This neuron has function controlling of another zone pressure area, inhibitory control of pressure area. Each component has tonic background activity. This activity becomes more or less dependent on blood pressure. Pressure area consists of excitatory neurons. They innervate what?
Spinal cord.
Spinal cord.
Sympathetic
Sympathetic centers. Excitatory influence from medulla. Pressure area is called rostral ventrolateral neuron. Sympathetic center controls sympathetic influences on the heart and blood vessels. Of course, there are different neurons, but this is scheme, so I show total influence. Summary. Preganglionic neurons relays in sympathetic ganglia, sympathetic chain. Sympathetic ganglia innervates effector, heart,
blood vessels.
and blood vessels, arteries and veins, both. Arteries.
But most arteries.
Arteries more, but veins also to change storage. Arteries and veins. Veins for fast regulation, veins is not so important because veins provides slower regulation because veins is storage. Total blood volume, third component. So all three components of blood pressure: cardiac output, the systemic vascular resistance, and storage. Three components. So the two upper are main, which is cardiac output and systemic vascular resistance. It's the main sympathetic circuit, but this reflex has an additional branch. Parasympathetic vagus center, again in medulla. Another branch goes to nucleus, called parasympathetic ambiguous. Nucleus ambiguous. Parasympathetic is the center of vagus nerve. It innervates heart. We started it 1 or 2 weeks ago. It innervates atria and nodes. And influences indirectly to force of contraction also, but mostly heart rate. But it doesn't innervate blood vessels. It influences only cardiac output. So how does it work? Increasing blood pressure, rising blood pressure. At first, background activity. Increasing blood pressure increases action potential. More it causes more action potentials. It's called firing. Firing is the pattern of numbers of action potentials. Fire, attach. Firing. That's a physiological term. More blood pressure, more action potentials, more excitation. So more activity of the pressure area. More inhibition pressure area. Less sympathetic influence, less systemic vascular resistance, less cardiac output, and less parasympathetic and increases parasympathetic. Increases parasympathetic activity. So vagus activity increases, sympathetic activity decreases. Blood pressure decreases to the normal level.
Less sympathetic resistance, less cardiac activity output,
And then increases vagus influence on heart. Vagus influence on heart. Totally, it causes recovery blood pressure, increased blood pressure to the normal level. Opposite, decreased blood pressure. Decreased blood pressure. It decreases by numbers of action potential, decreases activity of depressor area, pressor area becomes active more, sympathetic activity rises, and vagus activity decreases. Works easy. Additional component of this reflex. Preganglionic sympathetic fibers innervates adrenal medulla, adrenal medulla. It releases epinephrine. It's neurohumoral. Neurohumoral toxin.
excuse me, Professor.
It
You said blood pressure decreases, action potential decreases, activity pressure area decreases,
activity depressor area decreases, pressor area opposite increases.
and the sympathetic activity increases.
Sympathetic increases, vagus increases. Epinephrine and this reflex has another neurohumoral component. From nucleus ductus solitarium, signal goes to hypothalamus with inhibitory influences, inhibitory movement to hypothalamus, responsible to release ADH. More blood pressure, inhibition of ADH.
Yes.
And blood, body, I don't water from the body. More urine, less total blood pressure. And ADH controls total blood volume by influencing food. Well, okay. Now, look my video. I will go to take a device to measure your blood pressure. And maybe turn on computer. You have a virtual experience. Watch my video that I sent.
Right now.
Yes. So, listen. تعال هموت.
Gita تولد مبارک.
Understood.
This is a scheme of recorded blood pressure. You can see here three parts of waves. The smallest, fastest wave reflects change in blood pressure during systole and diastole phases, increase during systole and decrease during diastole phase. Second task.
Should love your sleep.
Yes, change in blood pressure during inspiration, it decreases, and during expiration, it increases due to change of temperature and other factors during breathing. And the slowest filterless waves,
ايوه
blood pressure,
شو هاد؟
مين دي؟
شو هاد؟ مين هاي؟ هاي القناة عبود شو؟ بس مين هاي؟
صاحبتها
هاي اسمها وين؟
blood pressure here.
شغل سمع بنسمع شغل
يا سالم
يا اسطى كتبت الشيخول امبارح جاب لي بص كل حاجه بالمجايه الشيخول
First, animal has teeth inside the artery. It directs the blood pressure. But you can see that blood pressure has several types of waves. Blood pressure
يس
and deviation has several types of waves. Wave. At first, first order, first degree wave, systolic inflow, diastolic outflow, like this.
اها
During systole, diastole phase. More or less, systole, more diastole, less. Then another wave. What is a wave? What is a wave? This is first order wave.
اها
Here, second order wave.
What-
Slower. Slower. Because your this pulse wave in blood vessel,
اه
I explained, is not line. Is not linear. It increases the shift up and then down. Why? Because we have second order or second degree wave due to a difference change of blood pressure during inspiration and expiration. During inspiration, increased blood pressure, opposite. Expiration, increased blood pressure, inspiration, decreased blood pressure. And then again. This is a slow mechanism. During inspiration, at the end of inspiration, activity of vagus center rises, and heart rate it decreases at the end of expiration. Heart rate decreases at the end of expiration. And change of central venous pressure. Central venous pressure. Then, and another wave. More slower. Like this. Slower wave due to vasomotor center activity. This vasomotor center has slower wave activity. We have third order wave. Administration of epinephrine induced higher blood pressure, of course, because epinephrine, higher concentration of epinephrine, induced epinephrine, affect the systemic vascular resistance, cardiac output, And it increases blood pressure in the acetylcholine. Acetylcholine decreases blood pressure. Why?
Because of vasodilation.
Parasympathetic system doesn't have systemic effect.
Local effect.
Local is not so big. Mostly effect on cardiac output.
Because of releasing nitric oxide from the
Yes, it's correct. Very good. Because administration of acetylcholine, systemic administration, evokes the release of nitric oxide. We have systemic effect. And cardiac output. If you inhibits influence of endogenous acetylcholine by atropine. Atropine is antagonist of muscarinic cholinergic receptors, acetylcholine receptors, muscarinic acetylcholine receptors. It has effect to increasing blood pressure, not so big, not so high like epinephrine, but anyway, blood pressure will rise due to inhibition of influence parasympathetic system at heart. And how to measure blood pressure? Simple. This is old, but anyway, it works. It's a cuff. Actually, I like more mechanical device than electrical device.
It's better.
The electrical device has some not so accurate, but more maybe comfortable, but not so accurate. And the cuff, this is pump. At first, you close valve here, pump device, close valve, increase pressure inside valve, inside cuff. Put here, an arm, inside pressure. When air pressure becomes more than pressure inside blood vessels, it jumps blood vessels, and you don't don't hear any sound in the blood vessel. Then you decrease a little cuff pressure, external cuff pressure, and some moment, blood pressure inside blood vessels becomes more than in cuff. It creates turbulent flow, and you hear first sound.
Yes.
Then it continues. Some moment, blood pressure inside blood vessels becomes less than here, and the sound disappears. So you can measure each